Hello again, class. My name is Jack Gregg, and this is my assignment for the communication model. For my assignment, I chose to pick my favorite form of communication. Being a drum player in a band, my favorite form of communication easily has to be music, but music through a concert setting. So for my assignment, I designed a communication model based on a concert setting. So I'm going to show that to the camera really fast so that as I reference it throughout the speech, you'll know what I'm referencing. Um, but my model is a mixture of both the transmission model along with the interactive model. So for starters, the transmission model has the five basic components. The first basic component is the sources along with the receivers. So in my model, the band, since we're there, we are the source. We're the one creating the noise. We're the one kind of putting out that first leg of communication. And the crowd is the receivers. But as that transmission model articulates, you can be both a source and a receiver all at the same time. So in reality, the communication that we're giving to the crowd, that's when we're the source. But the communication that we receive from the crowd, we're also the receivers. And the crowd are both sources and receivers as well. Now, the second model of a transmission model is the encoders and the decoders. While we are performing, we are taking previous thoughts, previous practices, and things of the sort, and encoding them into a performance, encoding them lyrically, encoding them into a drum beat, encoding them into a guitar riff, and the crowd is taking that in and is then decoding it. They are going to take the lyrics of our songs and they're going to decode them and assess the meaning for themselves in their own head. So we are the encoders and they are the decoders. The third method, the third component of a transmission model is the messages. And that's just basically the content of your communication, what it is that is actually being communicated. So again, here in my example, the band at a concert, the message is the music. The message is the experience, and that's communicated through a slew of ways. It's communicated through lights, it's communicated through sound, clearly, and it's communicated through body movement as well. If we are up there and we're having a good time, the message that we're sending is that of joy, is that of rock and roll, is that of spirited time. So that's kind of the message that we're sending it, and we're sending it through a whole variety of different channels. Now, channels can be more metaphorical, or channels can be more physical. I decided to pursue the more physical, technological side. For our purposes, channels are amplifiers, channels are microphones, channels are a drum head, channels are the acoustics of a guitar. It's the method through which we're communicating what it is that we're trying to get our audience to hear. So I have speakers here, that's a channel. I've got the drums here, that's a channel. You've got the guitars, that's a channel. And that's how I kind of wanted to portray that portion of the transmission model. And last but not least, you have the noise, that which might distract from the main goal of the communication, that which might distract from the information that's trying to be assessed. So down here in the corner, I have these two stubborn audience members who, instead of partaking in the communication, rather are back having their own discussion and talking amongst themselves, because in a concert setting, that's a very real thing. It's a room full of people. People are going to talk. People are going to be distracted. There's often plenty of bars in the back and a lot of drinks going out. So not everyone is always focused on the messages that are being sent, and that can distract others as well as us. And that is how I incorporated that point of the transmission model. Now, the point of the interactive model is the crowd gives feedback. You can tell whether a crowd is into the concert or into the show, or whether they're not, by their faces, by their body movement, if they're dancing, if they're laughing. The crowd gives a lot of feedback at something like a concert that you get to take in and assess for yourself. So that's the feedback in this model. And that is how I think a communication model can be expressed through a concert. Again, I'll flash the image one more time. I'm sorry that I'm not the best drawer on the face of the earth, but that's my communication model of a concert. Thank you.